Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sedona International Film Festival, where we're celebrating our 30th anniversary. We're coming to you live from the media room at Yavapai College. I'm Carol Kahn, your host, and we'd like to thank our sponsors, Northern Arizona Healthcare, as well as our restaurateurs, our hoteliers, volunteers who year after year support the festival. We are very grateful. And joining me now is no stranger to the Sedona International Film Festival is Stephen with his film Far West.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Good to see you. How you doing?
Good. It's so good. And I think he loves it here. That came back, I think, earlier than his film was
Yes.
supposed to be. So it's so nice to have you. And you were here, when was it? In 2021? Is that correct?
2020. I was here last year.
Last
So
year.
2023.
Yes.
It's always tough because it's the beginning of the
I
year
know.
right
It's
now. I'm
like,
what year is it?
where am I?
Yeah, last year, 2023, with another short film called Bacon and Laces.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I know, and everybody has been like buzzing, like, you remember that guy? He's with Bacon and Laces.
It's been fun. Yeah, I really like coming back because you see a couple like familiar faces, and there's so many people that come to each screening, and yeah, I love being here. And you can just walk outside and get some sunshine and take a hike, and I love it.
Good,
Yeah.
good. I know, very different from New York City, where
Little
you,
bit, yeah, little bit.
very different.
Yeah.
There's definitely monolith structures in New York City, but it's all concrete.
Yes, yes.
And steel. Well, it's so nice to have you. So tell us a little bit about your film.
Sure. So actually, the first thing that ever brought me to Sedona, I planned this whole solo road trip around the Southwest, which I had never actually experienced, never seen the Grand Canyon, just nothing, right? So I planned this whole experience, and I was going to start by seeing some friends in South by Southwest, and then driving west. When I was in the air, literally on the airplane, it was March 13th. It was a Friday, Friday the 13th. Trump got on the news and was like, it's a national emergency. You know, COVID is here. We have to lock down. And I'm like in the air. I'm like, what am I going to do?
Oh, no.
I don't know what I'm. Fortunately, because I was on this solo road trip and I was doing a lot of camping, I kind of spent it isolated anyways. But I was going to go to Marfa, Texas, and I was going to stay at sort of like a campsite area and write for about a week, a narrative I'm working on. And it got shut down. Marfa called me, and they were like, you cannot stay here. We do not have the infrastructure for you if you get sick. So I've been living in Brooklyn for about 12 years now, and I had a friend, a fine artist. Her name is Lala. We had met at a couple gatherings, and I knew that she had moved to West Texas because everyone else I knew was in Austin. So I DM her on Instagram. I don't even have her number at this point. And I was like, this is sort of an emergency. I'm kind of stuck in West Texas. I have a car. That's all I got. Can you help me? She gives me some coordinates to where she is. And she's like, meet me here. Bring a tent. You can stay with me during COVID. It's okay. So I get a tent. And I get to where she is. And I didn't realize she wanted me to get a tent, not because of COVID protocol, but because she also pretty much lives in a tent. She has 20 acres of land she
Wow.
purchased, and she lives off the grid completely. No Wi-Fi, running water, electricity, nothing. And so she, for the first 2 years, she lived in a tent, literally dug a hole in the ground to do her business, and just lived out there. And now she, by hand cement mixer, has like a one-room little house, and she's slowly built out a life there. And so it's just a character piece on her and her lifestyle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So I stumbled upon an old friend, and she just had I had no idea that that was the lifestyle she was undertaking.
Right.
Yeah.
So we do have a clip, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have a trailer.
A trailer.
I will preface it with, she came from New York, right? And so how we were talking about New York is very different than out here.
Right.
This trailer is basically just to give you a little bit of her feelings before she moved and maybe why she moved.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk some more as soon as we watch this.
10 years ago, I wanted to die. I didn't have a belief in myself. I was on a journey.
You know, when I was just watching that, it brought back lots of memories because I grew up in the Bronx in New York, right? And then even as when I got older and I moved to North Carolina and I traveled back to New York and stayed in a hotel there. You know, I was used to quiet, right? Because you don't hear sirens going up and down the street in the middle of the night or like constantly throughout the night. So it was very unusual. Again, even though you grow up in that environment, somehow it's silenced, like you don't hear the noise
Yep.
because you're not really paying attention to it. It kind of goes away. But then when you're away from it and you come back to it, it's so loud. It's just, you know, you think, how can somebody live like this when you used to live like that?
Yeah, so yeah, I feel like for Lala, there's a lot of extremes, right? Like there's like so much chaos up there, and instead of maybe going to a suburb or something like a little slower, she went just completely like, I mean, she really doesn't have many neighbors, and if you know her neighbors, they might only be a few miles away, but it takes so long to get to them because you can only go about 5 miles an hour on these back roads. She got 8 like slit tires her first year living out there. So yes, it's she's very like both sides of the seesaw. And I really enjoyed working with her, and it became kind of this meta thing because I originally was on this trip to kind of decompress and get away from the noise, and then ended up like being stranded, and she almost became this weird little guru of a person being like, well, yeah, I mean, I'd hang out here by myself 24/7, and you know, just a completely different shift. And I just found it so intriguing. And she reached out to me a couple months later, and you know, was working on the last film, Bacon and Laces, and she was like, maybe we should do something together. That would be fun, right? And I was like, absolutely. So I packed up the car, I drove to Georgia, saw my mom for Thanksgiving, and then headed out west with solar panels to charge all my gear and another tent that was a little bigger, and stayed out there for about a month shadowing her. And it was really just us two. We saw a few other characters, but it was really just intimate, just me and her hanging out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, how did this whole experience change you?
Oh man. I've been trying to slow down in many ways, both with work and just, you know, me getting a little older and, you know, being in New York for so many years. I was like, all right, I need to take the pace of me and like lower it a little bit and appreciate. This just sounds so like woo-woo, but like,
We're
appreciate
in
life.
Sedona.
Exactly, yeah, appreciate
We're in
life.
Sedona.
But it really was like, you know, out there, someone asked me, they're like, what was the hardest thing? Or like, what did you appreciate the most? And it's just like, your phone is a brick. It doesn't work, right? It's not in my hand. I don't need to be on a laptop. There's nothing I can do out here but like what's in front of me right now. And I really appreciated that, and I took that back even now with working with individuals in entertainment or advertising or whatever project I'm on, I freelance. But like really taking the time to like try to get to know other people, listen to their story, and not just like, hey, you said something, okay, because I'm waiting to talk. Like really like taking that in, and it was easier because there's not a lot of other stuff going around you. You really focus on the individual, and just my attention span, I guess.
Do you feel like in doing that, that your work or your like creativity or attention level, whatever like that may be, really hasn't, it's changed because the way that now you like you realize you're slowing it down, right? But do you feel like that has changed your work in any dimension, or that it's kind of still the same? Like you still work, you still know what you need to do, you still get it done in the same amount of time. Maybe it's taking you just a little bit longer, but you still get everything done. I guess what I'm trying to say, did it change your work environment at all because you've changed a little bit?
Yes, depending on the project, but I have noticed with some projects I'll work on that maybe I'm not directing, but I'm a part of. Instead of me, someone saying, we're gonna do this, and I'm just like, yes, let's do it. It's more, I'm thinking about, all right, what's the process of this? Like I'm taking a little more precaution, not to like create obstacles, but to really try to plan out and communicate. So like a schedule and like how we can communicate on like an edit or a shoot or whatever we're working on is a little more, there's a little more like foresight about it. And when it comes to my own projects, it was an experiment almost, because the last one, Bacon and Laces, is like the main character John is such a fun, entertaining, very quick, witty New Jersey guy, and the edit's quick. I used to work at MTV, so that MTV edits real quick and fun. This one was like a practice to say, no, let's hold on the shot. Everything's very intentional. There's a lot of crossfades that are very like working with two images to really make them look good as they dissolve. And even sound design. It's an original score. Alex did an amazing job on it. He's an incredible composer. But we sat and we tweaked the entire film to make it feel like it's a full piece. Mm-hmm. It's not just stock music from whatever service. I won't call any services out, but it's not from a service and you just make it work. It's like, this is tailored. This is a suit made for the film to put on.
So obviously it sounds like it's changed you. Has your mom like recognized any changes in you at all from your experiences? Has she like noticed anything?
Marcia Simon loves me regardless. I don't I don't know. I don't know if she's like seen like change in me. I will say I hope she sees this, but I feel like when I do see her at home, sometimes I'd be like very like New York, like no, let's do it now, no, blah, blah, blah. It's too slow down here. And now I'm like no, it's nice to be slower. Like why am I going so fast? There's why? So I think it's been a lot more grounding, slower, and me and my mom are pretty close because it's just me and my mom now, and so yeah. I hope she sees the change. Marcia, if you're seeing this, I love you. I hope I'm slow enough for you now.
Marcia, I think it's your baby. It's your baby. It doesn't matter, right?
That's very true.
But I knew she would notice something. If anybody's going to notice anything in you that makes a change, it's going to be your mom. So
yeah. And it's kind of funny. I don't think she's actually seen the film yet, because she's kind of waiting. She wants to see it on the big screen. And
awesome.
It is very grandiose. I mean, the landscapes are gorgeous. The color is phenomenal. So, she's waiting. So she'll see it soon.
Awesome. Well, tell us, where can people find your film?
This one?
Yes.
So
the
it's
one
not
that you're showing.
out. It's not out yet, right? So
Okay.
We had our premiere yesterday.
Okay.
It packed house. Lovely. I got to speak with some people afterwards, and it made me feel. It's always, this is the world premiere, so even on a technical level, it's like, how's it sound? How's it look like in the theater? And so that's kind of a first anxiety. And then you want to know what people think, and both of those things went very well. And then we screen tomorrow, and then after that, we're still hearing back from a lot of festivals. We just heard back from Mountain Film, which is another favorite of mine, because it is, you walk outside, you could go for a hike. Mm-hmm. I love those fests. So, and there's other ones coming, but we won't publicly release for a while, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's only really one festival that's your favorite.
Sedona. But it is that, I mean, it's like, it's a joke, but like,
no.
It really is like absolutely up there. I love it so much. The people here are so sweet. I meet so many, even if they don't have films here, everyone's so creative and like, like wanting to talk about films in like a filmmaker creative way. It's really amazing.
Good.
And I've been to a few festivals. So, yeah, this is very high tier for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
here. Thank you for the world premiere of your film.
Of course, yeah, I'm excited.
That's awesome. I'm really enjoying that whole celebration. So thank
thank
you.
you.
And hi to Marsha.
Love you, Mom.
We love you from Sedona. And don't forget, if you're following us on social media, to hashtag SIFF30. And if you're watching, make sure that you watch us throughout today on Facebook Live, where we have more filmmaker interviews. And this is out for me today. But thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for watching. And we'll be back with more. Tanya will have more filmmaker interviews later today. Thank you.